This is the Forbes Books podcast, conversations with remarkable folks who are impacting the world of business and beyond. Hola, I'm Joe Pardavila, and I am pumped for today's episode because we've got John Fieldly joining us today. For those who don't know, John is the CEO of Celsius, that super popular fitness drink company. He's been with Celsius for over 10 years now, starting as their CFO back in 2012 before becoming CEO in 2018. Now, under John's leadership, Celsius has just exploded. They partnered with Pepsi, expanded their distribution like crazy, and became a billion-dollar brand. Pretty good. But beyond being a smart businessman and leader, John is a super down-to-earth guy. I've really enjoyed our conversations over the years. He's got some awesome stories and insights to share. John, welcome to the podcast.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having us again.
So, John, this is the first time I'm doing this, but a podcast where my guest is standing. Is it because you have so much Celsius running through your veins?
For sure. I got a great cosmic vibe right here. It's a sparkling fruit punch, one of our new flavors. It's great. But yeah, standing's good. You got to, I don't know. It's good for the back, good for the posture.
Okay, cool. But whatever makes you comfortable, John, I'm happy with it. And so I want to start things off by talking about our first conversation. So we last spoke in the summer of 21, sort of still deep in the middle of bits of the pandemic. And we were introduced by our mutual friend, Marlon Winter. And Marlon had reached out to me and said, hey, listen, you got to talk to John. Celsius is the next big thing. And at the time, full transparency, John had no idea what Celsius was. He sends me a couple cases. I'm like, man, this is pretty good. Let me get John on the pod. Let's talk about this. And it's amazing to think that this is an overnight success 10 years in the making. The fact that you've been with Celsius since 2012, and you guys have exploded. And I want to take some credit. I think after that podcast, Celsius really took off. But listen, you probably have something different to say. So talk to me about the last couple of years and how the growth of Celsius has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it has. And definitely was because of this podcast for sure. I mean, it's we were after the podcast, we were so motivated and we've been working hard. It's going back to 21. Wow, it seems so far ago. Right? 2021, just when we stand here today, towards the end of 2023. It's been really exciting here at Celsius. We've building out our teams. We partnered with Pepsi since we last spoke. So we use them as our national distributor in the US. Got a lot of great new flavors. And I think, in a post-COVID world with health and wellness trends stronger than they've ever had before, Celsius aligns with today's health-minded consumer in a much broader way. Everyone's thinking about wants something better for you. They want their beverages to do more for them and foods to do more. And fitness is a lifestyle these days, which is super critical for our overall health and wellness. That's what Celsius ties into. That's
amazing. And it's the growth has just been unbelievable. And I joke that, it's overnight success, 10 years in the making. You joined the company CFO in 2012. Can you describe, for folks not familiar with the early days of Celsius, what was Celsius like? It sounds like you were a bootstrapping bev company, but what were those early years like for Celsius?
Yeah, no, the early years are very interesting. I mean, it still feels somewhat similar to the first day I started. I mean, you're always working for tomorrow, working to be better, trying to be better as an organization, trying to be a better brand developer, brand builder, coaching and mentoring. So I don't think anything has really changed in our overall DNA since when I started in 2012, but we started in 2012. It was, budgets were a lot smaller than they are today, but we still have that financial discipline that we've taken with us that have kind of instilled in 2012 when I started. It's been an awesome journey. We got a long way to go. When I started in 2012, we were getting delisted, kicked out of a lot of retailers in the country. The product just didn't work. So we really took a disciplined approach, focusing on specific communities and specific regions within the country with our limited resources, and continue to keep building. I think you got to be resilient. I think we know that now as individuals as well, and always pushing ourselves to get better, never be complacent. And that's really been in the brand DNA as we've built, and got some great team members have joined the company along the way. And it's just an exciting time when you look at some of our flavors. I got Cosmic Vibe, like I said, and really exciting with the new innovation that's coming out. And consumers are really attracted to the brands. We're seeing really, when 2012 being a fitness brand, it was our consumers were right around like 30 to 45 was the target. And now, just due to health and wellness trends, our target audience today is 18 to 24 and got embedded in college and universities around the country and gained a lot of distribution. And the teams have done well leveraging social media as well, which is really exciting. You can get your message out very quickly and can really do some cool things. And we got millions of followers now.
That's awesome. So what I find fascinating about your brand, John, is you mentioned demographics, but when I see it boots on the ground, it's literally like, I don't want to say nerds, but like office drones, like people in their office drinking Celsius, and then people at my gym drinking Celsius. So how were you able to connect those two things? Because I think, as you probably know, with energy drinks, it's going to be like sort of that bro culture. It's the folks that hit the gym a lot. But you guys have such a wide spectrum of, and I don't want to say like users, I want to say like fans. Like I see people drinking a Celsius every day, no matter what they're doing, if they're at the gym or in their office. So how did that happen?
Well, I think it has to go with where the brand, really through the brand journey, right? So, typically, I guess when you maybe launch an energy drink, you go straight after, convenience and really go for that energy rush. And that's typically what a lot of other brands have done. But I think what we've done is something a little bit unique when it goes back to our heritage and in regards to being born in fitness and Vitamin Shoppe and GNC, and really focusing on that fitness consumer as being part of their daily active, healthy lifestyle, using it as a pre-workout. So we've spent many years focused on that community. And then as we scaled and grew, we got broader reach, targeting additional consumers. That now we're going to music festivals. We sample at music festivals. We partnered with a variety of sports partnerships. Today, we just announced most recently an MLS partnership, Major League Soccer at a national level. We partner with NASCAR teams as well. And we also have great opportunities with further partnerships, like F1 is a great example. We had our first race in Miami partnering with Ferrari this year. So there's a lot of great opportunities targeting a broader consumer base, which has allowed us to expand outside of our core consumer, which is the fitness channel.
And it's funny because you talk about the early struggles of delisting and getting kicked out of stores, and now you're signing licensing deals. To you, does it feel like this is the same company? Wait a minute, what's happening here?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Some of the deals, I mean, I never, always dreamed, but never thought we'd be doing some national deals. One day there would be an opportunity, and today's the day. I mean, we're working on 2024 budgets. Super excited about a variety of properties we're working on. We partner with some of the largest athletes in the world. We just partnered this year with Jake Paul. There's a variety of other athletes that we're really excited that we're working with, and it's awesome. It's a really exciting time at the company, and we're just getting started with this partnership, and we're going to see how high we can go, and we want to be the number one energy drink in the world.
Wow. And many have tried to do what you've accomplished. The 7-Elevens and the Quick Checks of the world are littered with many energy drink that came and went. What do you think it is with Celsius? Why have you guys been able to maintain not only this longevity, because like I said, a lot of these come and go really quickly, but this longevity, and then built this base of consumers over time? I think for entrepreneurs listening to this, they wonder like, man, I don't think most people would have stuck it around this long to do what you guys have done. So what is it? And I know you mentioned the team, but like, there's got to be something more than that.
Yeah, no, it is a long journey, right? So I've been here since 2012, and you look at a lot of the supporters and early investors have been extremely patient. I think when you're building a consumer products company, patience is extremely key. Focusing on the community is very important as well. And being consistent. It takes time to build up momentum. And then once you've built momentum, you got to continue to drive that forward. So that's been extremely critical. You're right. Now we're in 7-Eleven nationwide. We see us in Circle K. We're in some of the largest retailers in the country. We have over a 10 share in the energy category, which getting 1 share in the energy category is practically near impossible. So, and very difficult to do. So now with the latest data shows that we're at a 10 share over the last 4 weeks. It's just a huge accomplishment for the team. And it is continual focus on execution. And we're really, when you look at consumers, we're really creatures of habit. So what we try to do here at Celsius, we want to get in part into your daily lifestyle. We want to be part of a daily routine. And I think once you've identified that and understand where your product fits within a consumer's lifestyle, you're able to build marketing campaigns and activate around that. Now, creating awareness is one thing, creating trial is another, and creating loyalty is what's key. So that only happens if you can be part of a daily consumer's lifestyle. And that's something we really focus on at Celsius. And the teams have been really successful on building out our communities that way.
Nice. And a couple of years ago, we did chat about sort of like the dirty little secret of beverages, and even like the spirits world is like the finite amount of space on these shelves in these stores across the country. There's a lot of bureaucracy, there's politics, there's, I'm sure, some maneuvering behind the scenes that you probably don't want to even think about anymore, John, because you're past that. But what made you so appealing to Pepsi to get involved in this? Because the distribution, as you've come full well to know, is like a huge part of being able to reach people. Like, people need to be able to find it easily accessible. Why was Celsius so appealing to Pepsi?
Yeah, I think when you look at Pepsi, and they saw an opportunity with Celsius. They see that as this better for you movement. So if you talk to a lot of buyers within retail, better for you has been something that has been spoken about for a long time. And you hear that Expo West and Expo East, and all the retailers are looking to expand, their offerings, and also larger companies are looking to find those brands that can fit into this better for you segment. It's been really difficult to find a better for you brand that is able to resonate with a broader mass consumer. That has not really been, really done well in a variety of different categories you can look at. A lot of the better for you products are very niche. So there hasn't been one been able to connect to mainstream consumers. And I think with Pepsi, we've over exceeded all Pepsi's expectations but they were looking at that gap within their portfolio at the time that, we were there. They had Rockstar, they have Mountain Dew Energy. So there was this opportunity. So they saw that. And they also believed in our consumer base that we could, with an increase in distribution, we could reach that broader consumer and the product would continue to resonate. And that was a big bet for Pepsi, that they invested in Celsius, or 8.5% shareholder today. And they saw the same vision and the same opportunity we had. So, Pepsi wants to be a leader in the energy category. It's one of the largest, fastest growing categories in beverage. And with the Celsius portfolio, as well as Rockstar, we complement each other. And now they're able to go after, the category with a cohesive portfolio strategy.
It's awesome, because I'm sure it's almost the old, you can't beat them, join them strategy too, because as you know, the Cokes, Pepsis, and Dr. Peppers of the world have tried this before. They've tried their own version of an energy drink, and then they'll do some acquisitions. And then they'll sunset them if they don't work out. So obviously, it's working with you and Pepsi, because in May there was a story that you leveraged this partnership to reach $1 billion in sales. That's billion, and I hate to say, I always joke when people say, but that's billion with a B, John. Did you think that when you signed up as CFO at Celsius, you'd be working for a company that was moving $1 billion in product?
It's no, I didn't think about that. I didn't think that was that was a long stretch in 2012. At that point, 2012, we were just trying to break even and get the company to cash flow. That was the main goal from our investors. And it's to do $1 billion in retail. It's awesome. I still get excited though every time I see a can in someone's hand, and a consumer's can, or see one in the trash. It's so exciting to see people enjoy the product, and it's great to have a product that we've been able to build and really nurture into what it is today, and have so many consumers enjoy it. Celsius is an amazing, great tasting energy drink with vitamins. It makes you feel better. The attributes of the brand are just phenomenal. So it's great to get the word out, and great to see consumers enjoying it all over.
That's so cool. And one thing that you mentioned a couple times, as a good CEO does, is mentioning new product flavors. So I guess this is part where it gets tricky for you, because I'm sure you get to a point where, like, hey, these are our 4 or 5 main moving SKUs. Let's dabble with other flavors. Talk to me about developing these flavor profiles. What works, what doesn't work. Do you have like flagship flavors that will be part of the Celsius brand forever? So let's start by talking about the sort of like your base iconic flavors of Celsius, and then why you decide to introduce more.
I mean, when you look at the base formula, one of our original flavors is orange. It's a great flavor. It's done one of my favorites as well. That's been a really a nostalgic early flavor. The other early flavor was lemon lime, and that was we had that when I first started, but we had to do some portfolio rationalization. The portfolio was too big for the size and scale of the company, so we had to cut a lot of flavors. And lemon lime was one of the flavors we cut. And we actually just brought it back this year. It is an amazing flavor, but you have to have a flavor strategy. Obviously, we would love to have one flavor that, like a Monster Green or, a Red Bull flavor, traditional Red Bull. But unfortunately, with our that's one thing that's unique about our offerings is we bring great flavor innovation to the category. We have a lot of great fruit forward flavors. Mentioned that orange, a lemon lime, a wild berry. We have a green apple cherry that's at 7-Eleven. That's really great. And then we've expanded into a vibe line over the last, our first vibe came out in 2021 when we spoke, and that was Peach Vibe. And we've taken that and actually built a whole new line with this vibe strategy. What's your vibe? So we got Cosmic Vibe. We have a Tropical Vibe. We have a Fantasy Vibe. We got some more vibes coming out in 2024
a lot of vibes, John.
Oh, we do. You do. You pick your vibe. It's exciting. We're building a whole portfolio there. So flavors are great. We got unique flavors. We do think our consumers are very loyal, but we do see them try different flavors within the portfolio. And with today's consumer, they're looking for new things from us. Retailers want new things, and we're delivering on it.
It's very rare for a brand like yours in the beverage space or even food space to have so many different options for folks, because they always if you read any business book, is like, do that thing you do well and then exploit the hell out of it. But it's very rare for like a brand like yours to have so many different options that there's no like go-to. Like when you're talking about Coke or Pepsi, you're talking about their main iconic brands, and then you could talk about the diet versions and the cherry versions. But at the end of the day, it's always about that one flavor. Why do you think variety has been so impactful for you? Because as you know, John, with most of these other businesses, it's like, we need that one thing. It sells, like even Red Bull. Red Bull does very well with just Red Bull, and then they obviously have the diet Red Bull. But why do you think variety is such an important facet of what Celsius does?
I mean, within our portfolio, we do have core flavors. So our top 5 flavors, it's going to be orange, it's going to be kiwi guava. Also, the peach vibe has done extremely well, and tropical vibe. And also our cosmic vibe has been a great new flavor as well. But, I think that offers something unique, especially with today's fast moving, information and with social media. We're able to do some great marketing activations around some of these great unique flavors, which has given us somewhat of a competitive advantage. There's a lot of other brands trying it out there, and I think our team does a really good job of flavor innovation and bringing those to life through social media. So it's something we've been continually working at. We're always reviewing the portfolio, going through portfolio rationalization, making sure we keep the fast cars on the track, as we say internally here, which is, the top flavors need to be at retail. We're building out really a cohesive progression, especially we started it this year. We're going to continue to work on that as we continue to grow and scale. That's one thing, being a early brand, we would just, if a retailer wanted a flavor, we would always be pitching a certain progression of flavors. But at the end of the day, if the buyer likes a certain flavor, we just want the shelf space. So we allowed that kind of to happen where we have a lot of fragmentation around the country. We're working to optimize that on a go-forward basis. So maybe we will have a Red Bull or a Monster Green flavor one day as we get more of our portfolio cohesiveness consistent across the country. And so that's really a to be determined as we continue to grow. What we do see is with Pepsi and our partnership, we can get some really great, consistent, cohesive activation that we're going to continue to build on.
And when do you know a flavor doesn't work? And obviously you could just draw on sales, but like, is there something like there's an early indicator of like, yeah, we missed the boat on that one? Or is it something that you're like, hey, let's give it, because obviously you're a patient company, so, John, everyone knows that. But like, there's a fine line between patience and impatience. So when do you know of a particular flavor doesn't work for the consumer?
Well, I think it's a business decision, right? So that's, we have a lot of KPIs internally, and if it's not meeting certain thresholds, it's not meeting certain turns at retail, you gotta make those decisions. If you don't make the decisions, the retailer will make the decisions for you. So it's better you make the decision before the retailer does. In retail, it is highly competitive. You really got 6 months to perform, otherwise you're out. So it's really important that you have the right strategy, the right offerings, the right flavor combinations on shelf in order to win.
And I know you're always looking forward, but now that you're one of the big dogs, Do you have to look back every once in a while, like, hey, where's that next Celsius coming from? Is that something your team is keeping an eye on as well?
Always, always. We always look at the competition. We have weekly and monthly meetings, looking at, different parts of the country, retailers. It's very important to understand your business. Like I said, it's important to know how you're turning at retail to be able to drive your business forward. Are those marketing activities working? Is it a flavor? Is it a sales problem? Is it a supply chain problem? You constantly got to keep evaluating your business. And the only way to do that is to leverage the data. So David is very important to us here at Celsius. We're looking at, is it an operational challenge? It is a sales challenge, or is it a marketing challenge? Or it could be a combination of those. And the only way you're going to be able to figure out that is to look at the data, look at the segmentation, look at the market, look at the geography, to really understand that and to be able to track the trends.
And speaking of geography and regions, the great thing about this United States of America we live in, John, is, man, you just never know what one part of the country is going to love and another part. So how do you manage that in terms of, like, hey, in the Northeast, they might like orange, but in the South, they may like peach? Like, is there something that happens in that space? Because I can only imagine, because I've always seen, especially with like a lot of startup beverage and even spirit companies, they'll start in certain regions to build up an audience, and then they'll know what works what. But is that something that you have to deal with too in Celsius, that in terms of how you cover this country and what flavors are popular where and what have you?
Yeah, I think we're learning that right now with Pepsi. We have expanded our distribution nationwide. So we're in a lot of new markets that we haven't been before. So I think it's too early to tell, but it's something we're analyzing. Is orange stronger in a certain market than another? Is lemon lime? It's really, we got to get the portfolio consistent around the country, and then we'll be able to really understand that opportunity we have. And a lot of times there is flavor trends within regions, southern, northern, east, and west. So those could be opportunities as we further leverage the portfolio.
All right, last flavor question is, we're recording this in the fall of 23. Everything is pumpkin everything. I was just watching, Trader Joe's has like 600 pumpkin items. So is there a pumpkin Celsius flavor?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, we don't have one in the works yet, but there could be. Pumpkin's hot, especially this time of year. I agree.
So, okay, all right. Well, if you decide to go with that idea, just make sure you give me a little piece, because I'm sure no one in your company would have ever suggested pumpkin if it wasn't for me. So just keep me in mind in the future, John. Talk to me about Celsius University. This is something I've learned from our mutual friend Marlon, but for folks not familiar, what is Celsius University?
Yeah, Celsius University is great. It's a activation of really student ambassadors. So we graduate 170 students, college students, just recently as they're getting ready to head back into college campuses around the country. We're in about 78 college campuses around the country. And we use them as really CEOs of their campuses. They help us activate, they help us identify opportunities, and really help us to bring Celsius to their colleges.
That's awesome. So let's talk about the future, because last we spoke, who would have known that this whole $1 billion in sales, this Pepsi spending hundreds of millions of dollars getting involved with you. I mean, where do you go from here? Because, man, it seems like things are going really well. And I know you guys are always forward thinking, but where else could you go with Celsius?
So much opportunity where we can go. We're looking at international opportunities right now, looking at Europe and Canada and also other markets in APAC. And really big opportunity is within the US right now. And we see in the near term is expanding into like food service. We just launched and partnered with Jersey Mike's. We're in over 2,000 Jersey Mike's around the country, and only been in for a few weeks now, but that looks looking really promising. We're really excited. I think food service could be a big opportunity. Fast casual restaurants with Pepsi's reach, the opportunities are really endless. So those are things that we're exploring and looking at opportunities. How do we further leverage Pepsi? And Pepsi's sold in so many different places. The Celsius sell in those new opportunities that we can reach, that we can now reach with the Pepsi partnership. So we're really just getting started here, which we're really excited. We got great flavors coming out next year. We got some new retailers coming on, and hopefully we're gaining some more distribution. We're getting ready here. It's in fall of 2023. We're getting ready for NACS, which is the largest convenience store show in the country. We're really excited to be able to talk to some of the largest retailers in the country and see what they have in store and further build our partnerships.
I was just thinking, we're just talking about your reach. Could you see a time when Celsius is available like on fountains, like the soda fountains at restaurants and stores? Like, can you do like transfer without getting too into the chemicals? But can you make it into a fountain drink?
Yeah, I mean, there is an opportunity for that for sure. I think right now we're really focused on the RTDs, and there's a lot of opportunities just in our can and our core portfolio, but there's definitely different pack sizes as well. We do have a powder line that's been doing really well. Powder sticks, on the go sticks, Celsius on the go. They're at Walmart and a variety of other retailers, Publix, they're at Kroger, doing really well. So I think the on the go powder opportunity could be huge for us as well. And then also other formats could be, you could see us on a fountain someday, or in a slushie as well. You never know.
So cool. So now that you've been with the company going on 10 years now, it's crazy how much time flies. But what is the team like today as when it was in 2012? How much of the band has kept together? How much has it grown? Like, talk to me about that, because I'm sure as a leader, like, you have your go-to folks at the beginning, and then sometimes things happen where people outgrow roles, or just, things have to change. But tell me about the band behind Celsius.
No, we got a lot of several of our key key employees are here. I've been here from the early days. I got Toby David, our EVP's been my right hand. We got Anthony Rocco as one of the first employees of Celsius, and then we've built out our teams. When I started in 2012, we had 12 employees. Today we're over right around 400 employees.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing, and we've been hiring people every week. So building out sales, marketing, operations, finance, really looking. We have a lot of jobs available, postings available on LinkedIn and on our website. So anyone out there that's looking for to join a great, fast-growing company, looking forward to build upon the Celsius Foundation. And we're here, we're hiring, so it's exciting. It's an exciting time. But we have a lot of employees that have been here from the early days, and a lot of new employees as well, which is exciting. And we're getting a lot of new employees that are coming in with great skill sets from some of the largest CPG brands in the world, and adding a lot of value to our existing teams.
And I was curious about your leadership evolution. Did you have to change it all, going from the scrappy, RTD company with a few dozen employees to now upwards of 400? I mean, do you have to change it all? Do you have to adapt? Like, talk to me about your sort of like leadership journey, because again, like I mentioned, you were CFO, so obviously you had to evolve from CFO to CEO, but now a CEO to a few hundred employees. How has that changed you?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my attributes have not changed, but you got to change every day. You got to change. You got to continue to evolve. Doing a lot more, coaching along the way. But even back then, it's now being the CEO of the company, continue to drive that vision and excitement, and that is extremely important. A lot of coaching, a lot of mentoring, a lot of working closely with the teams. I'm actively involved in all parts of the business. I really don't think things changed from the first day I started to where I am now in regards to my mindset. We're still cautious on a variety of our process. We have processes. We continue to improve, drive efficiencies, better execution. The only thing that has changed is we got a lot more people, and I probably do a lot more coaching now, along the journey than I did in 2012.
And now looking back at your CFO transition to CEO journey, was that harder than the current one, like going from CFO to CEO, then now the CEO to hundreds of employees?
Yeah, I think, it seemed pretty natural. I was working really closely with the prior CEO that brought me on. He started right around the same time I did. I worked with him in a prior company. So, we've always worked really closely together on strategy. And, I'm not the CFO today. So, I'm still involved in budgeting and forecasting. And, we do a lot of P&L reviews. And, it just seemed natural, kind of. I did just continue to get better each and every day. Continue to learn something new from the people around you, and really ask questions. I think that's really important, is to continually ask those questions that create thought and validation, which is key.
The Trade Magazine Beverage Industry named you the 2022 Executive of the Year. Congratulations for that. What does that mean to you, to be recognized? Because as you know, as with executives, like, man, you just want to make a living, make the life for other people good. You have a great team, make a great product. But to get an award, like that's not a thing like people think about. So when someone says to you, hey, by the way, congrats, you just won the Executive of the Year, all the beverages on the planet, you're the Executive of the Year. What does that achievement mean to you?
That was really, really something special. I think, I'm very humble. It's awesome to be recognized like that. And the other CEOs that have won, been CEOs of Coke and Pepsi, and I mean, some of the greatest beverage leaders of all time. So it's an honor. I work hard every day. I work closely with the teams. I like to build team bonds. We have cross-functional teams working. It's really important. And it's an honor. It was really, really special.
Awesome. Well, John, I'm looking forward to see what happens next. I mean, you guys blew up the last time I spoke. I can't imagine what happens next after this conversation. So, John, thank you so much for the time, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome, John, and that'll do it for another episode of the Forbes Books podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe. That way you'll get new episodes as soon as they're available. And if you have a spare moment, I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a review, which would help other exceptional entrepreneurs like you discover the show. You can always connect with me on X, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Joe Pardavila or TikTok at J Pardavila. And please don't forget the golden rule and treat others as you want to be treated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adios.